Have you noticed how often you hear the phrase, "everyone needs therapy" these days? It feels like it's everywhere, especially when we talk about kids and teenagers. But where did this idea come from? It's not just a random trend. It's the result of several big cultural shifts that have completely changed how we think about childhood and mental health. Let's break it down. First, let's be real. Kids today are growing up in a seriously high-stress environment. Think about it. They're dealing with digital overload from being constantly connected, anxiety about the climate, economic uncertainty, and a whole lot of social turbulence. Psychologists even call it a whirlwind of stressors that previous generations just didn't face on this scale. Because of this, the mental health field is moving towards prevention. Instead of waiting for a crisis, the focus is on early screening and building supportive relationships to protect a child's overall well-being. This preventive approach has led to our second point: universal mental health screening in schools and pediatric offices. In some places, all students get an annual mental health checkup, not just those who seem to be struggling. The goal is noble, to catch problems early. But an interesting side effect is normalization. When screening is universal, it sends a message to kids that therapy isn't just for crises. It's something everyone is expected to do, like a dental checkup. Third, the mental health industry itself has exploded. We've seen a massive boom in therapy apps, online counseling platforms, and mental health programs in schools. Insurance companies are even offering incentives for early intervention. This high visibility makes therapy seem more accessible and common, but it can also create a subtle pressure to participate. It's constantly in front of us, making it feel like the standard path to follow. And finally, perhaps the biggest influence is social media. Therapy language has become our everyday language. We hear kids and adults casually talking about my anxiety, my trauma, or my attachment style. Phrases like "my therapist says" are dropped into normal conversation, even by people who aren't actually in therapy. Kids absorb this vocabulary and start to think that if they are not talking this way or seeing a therapist, they're missing something essential. So why do so many kids now believe they need a therapist? It's crucial to understand this isn't because they're weak or fragile. It's because the world around them is sending them a very specific message. Therapy is often framed as the default solution for any and every problem. When every challenge gets labeled as a mental health issue, kids learn to look for an expert to manage their feelings for them, instead of learning how to regulate their emotions themselves. We also see adults modeling this behavior. You might say things like, "You should talk to a therapist about that," instead of, "Let's work through this feeling together." This unintentionally teaches kids that only a professional can handle difficult emotions, and that their own support system isn't enough. Compounding on this, schools are doing a great job of teaching emotional vocabulary. Kids can name their feelings, but they often lack the tools to actually manage them. So, when they feel sad or angry, their first thought is that they need a professional to fix it. The line between normal, everyday stress and a clinical issue has become incredibly blurry. Feeling sad or overwhelmed, which is a normal part of growing up, is now often seen as a sign of a disorder. Now let's be clear, this cultural shift has some huge upsides. There's far less stigma around mental health, which is fantastic. More kids who genuinely need support are getting it, and we're intervening earlier for serious issues like trauma. We've learned so much about how positive childhood experiences can build resilience, and that's a powerful tool. However, there's a concerning side to this too. When therapy becomes a blanket expectation for everyone, we risk teaching dependence instead of resilience. If every difficult feeling requires a therapist, kids don't get the chance to build their own coping skills or emotional endurance. We also risk pathologizing normal childhood struggles. Not every fear, frustration, or disagreement is a disorder. It's just part of being a kid. This pressure can also affect parents, making them feel like they need to fix their children instead of guiding them, which can create more anxiety for everyone. And ultimately, this well-intentioned system can overreach, sending the message to perfectly healthy kids that there's something wrong with them. Finding the balance between providing support and fostering independence is the real challenge we face today. Let's switch gears. What can we do about it? Ever wonder if journaling could actually be more effective than therapy for you? Now, let's be super clear. This is not medical advice, and seeing a therapist is incredibly valuable. But sometimes, for everyday well-being, journaling has some unique superpowers. Let's break down how and why from a practical behavioral science angle. First up, journaling builds daily repetition. Therapy is usually once a week, right? But with journaling, you can check in with yourself every single day, or even multiple times a day. This gives your brain way more practice in recognizing your patterns, regulating your emotions, and building self-awareness. Daily reps strengthen those new neural pathways much faster than an occasional deep dive. Think of it like going to the gym for your mind. Second, journaling captures the real moment, not the remembered one. In a therapy session, you're often recounting something that happened days ago. Your memory might be a bit fuzzy, or you might unintentionally edit the story. But when you journal, you can capture a thought or feeling as it's happening. It's the raw, unfiltered data. This makes your insights incredibly accurate and honest, because you're dealing with the real trigger, not just the memory of it. Third, journaling trains you to be your own observer. Therapy provides an external mirror, a professional who reflects your thoughts back to you. That's powerful. But journaling teaches you to build an internal mirror. This skill, the ability to witness your own thoughts and feelings without judgment, is what truly creates long-term change. But why? Because that internal mirror is with you 24/7, not just for 1 hour a week. You become your own guide. Next, it immediately reduces your emotional load. Have you ever felt overwhelmed, with thoughts racing a million miles an hour? Grabbing a pen and paper can be instant relief. The act of writing actually helps to slow down your nervous system. It forces you to organize those chaotic thoughts into coherent sentences, which lowers the cognitive burden on your brain. You don't have to wait for your next appointment to feel better. You can regulate yourself in real time whenever you need it. Journaling also creates a trackable archive of your growth. Therapy conversations are fleeting unless you're a diligent note-taker, but a journal is a physical record of your journey. You can literally flip back through the pages and see your patterns, your triggers, your wins, and your progress. You can see which mistakes you keep making and understand your emotional cycles. Over time, your journal becomes a personalized textbook all about you, written by you. It's your own psychological blueprint. Another huge benefit is the removal of performance pressure. Let's be real, a lot of us unconsciously perform in therapy. We want to sound smart, we want our therapist to like us, or we feel pressure to have a big breakthrough. A journal doesn't care. It doesn't judge, it doesn't react, and it can't misunderstand you. This freedom from expectation often leads to a level of honesty that can be difficult to achieve when another person is in the room. You can be messy, you can be contradictory, you can be totally unfiltered. Finally, let's talk about accessibility. A journal is there for you, anytime, anywhere. There's no scheduling, no cost, no waiting list. You can write at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep. You can pull it out during a moment of panic. Or you can quickly jot down a thought in your car before a stressful meeting. That immediate access is a game changer for managing life as it happens. Why does this all work so well on a brain level? Writing gets thoughts out of your head, which frees up mental bandwidth. It forces your brain to slow down, allowing your prefrontal cortex, the logical part, to catch up with your emotions. This process builds metacognition, which is basically thinking about your thinking, the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. And remember, repetition is key. Seeing your own words on paper also creates a healthy distance, making you less reactive and more reflective. So, if you're looking for a powerful tool for self-discovery and emotional regulation, give journaling a try. It might just be the missing piece in your mental wellness toolkit. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Rutherford. This is The Want to Project.